Okay, there we go. Well, I gotta do a really quick text. Okay. Well, hi.
Hi.
How we doing?
Good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing swell.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just setting all my little stream things up so that I can see all the people and do all the things. And there we go. I think that's pretty much everything. So hi, all the people. So this is our Oakbridge Q and A. So I know that you don't see them where you are, Ashley, because they're on all the other platforms, but they are somewhere, and that's what's important. So this space and time is for people to ask anything that they want to ask regarding your mediumship development, psychic development, healing, anything. What my favorite thing to do is long walks on the beach, whatever. I'm a Pisces, so you can literally ask anything. So yeah, so this is kind of open forum to whatever what you want to know about.
Did you get the question I submitted, Michael?
I did not. Let me see. Where'd you submit it?
On the Oakbridge site.
I did not see it. No, I did not.
Let's see. I can try and. It was more eloquently put in the text.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay, I found it. I can read it off if you want.
Yeah, please. That's great.
Okay. So just I'm feeling like overwhelmed with frustration, among other feelings,
Sure.
just from not being able to like pick up on the subtlety of changes and impressions during class practices. And throw in that fear of being wrong with the ego poking in as well. But it has me wanting to skip the last two classes. I'm not going to, but that fear is there.
Yeah.
But I guess my questions are any guidance as far as how I can trust myself more as far as what I'm receiving, bonus points for any examples of like physical things that I could keep a lookout for in those like subtle, I don't know, like subtle impressions, and how to work with that evidence without shutting down and just being so defeated by it.
Yeah, I guess my first question for you is when did you notice that shift? Because I have seen you working on this process, and I've seen you do really, really accurate, really, really incredible work. So I'm curious, when did you feel that shift?
So it's like that's why I wanted to take the foundations 1 through 3 is because it's like 50% of the time I get that quality stuff, and then it's like the other 50% it's like nothing.
Yeah. Yep.
And so yeah, just like not like I think subconsciously I'm expecting the intense feeling or impression, because usually what happens, like the first thing that comes in is typically how the sitter, or not the sitter, the spirit has passed, and like feeling that very strongly within my body. But I think if it's something else coming in first, I'm not catching it. And so I don't know what always it is that I should be like looking for, I guess.
Okay. And when you sit in the power, what do you notice as far as the feeling?
Sometimes nothing, or and trying to work with that and use the affirmations or the phrases that we've talked about in class as far as working that in there and allowing it. But more recently, it's been heat, a feeling of heat expanding out. But also, I think I struggle with noticing when it's outside of my body and like in the room, just because it's always kind of felt the same and it's never felt very different. Just, I don't know, chalk that up to being like we're all one kind of thing, I guess.
Okay.
So,
yeah. Well, I think what makes that a little bit different is that when we do become attuned, there is a sense of oneness, but also there is still a sense of differentiation between what's me and what's not me. So that sounds like where our first sort of port of call is essentially getting so that we can start to notice the difference between what's me and what's not me. So is that something you feel like you have a little bit of struggle with right now?
Okay. Yeah.
And when we have been working, have you noticed any difference in your approach and what you're doing and what happens in the reading when it goes well versus when it doesn't?
I think more recently, I've been feeling the pressure a lot more. I know, like logically, consciously, like I don't want to put the pressure on me. Like we're here to learn, but I think subconsciously, it's just one of those deep wounds that recovering perfectionist.
I am one of those, so I know exactly what you're talking about. So yeah.
Yeah.
And so more recently, you're noticing more tension, is what you're saying.
And
what is the tension? Desire, distraction, or expectation, or all of the above?
I think an unconscious expectation I'm placing on myself to feel something, get something, receive a message.
Okay. When we did the home circle exercise, were you able to feel any difference? Were you able to feel the power moving? Were you able to accurately describe the power at all?
Yeah, I would say that a lot of them say like same timestamp, but like different feelings.
Sure.
Notice that like maybe I had like a chill, and then someone else in the group at the exact same time felt like a rush of power, like a force of like energy or something.
Sure. When you experienced that, did you have to do anything? Were you trying to achieve that, or were you just kind of like sitting there and it just sort of happened?
Yeah, it just happened.
Yeah. When you're doing your reading, are you approaching it in a similar manner? Do you feel like you're
but
just
again, I think that it creeps in there is like I'm expecting, like, okay, like I've been sitting here and I'm not feeling anything or I'm not noticing. So what now?
Okay, great. Your attunement, when you do your attunement process, do you find that you are feeling the atmospheric change before you begin? Do you feel the thickness in the atmosphere? Do you feel tingling? Do you feel buzzing before you start? Okay, so that's where we want to start then, because you're obviously able to experience the power when it's happening, like when you sat in the home circle, when you sit in the power, you sometimes feel it, sometimes don't. So where the sort of seems to me like the breakdown is in our initial linking in and being able to kind of get a sense of the power to begin with and feeling that atmosphere and that shift. One of the things that's going to make it trickier is if when we're sitting, we're going, something needs to happen. So one of the best things that you can do is learn to be okay with nothing. Learn to accept that it's okay if nothing happens and I don't need it to become anything. Because that pressure that we feel to produce creates the block. So as soon as we start feeling that little bit of pressure, it starts to diminish our connection. Because now we're going, I need something to happen. And then it just, squeezes off and doesn't work. So first step first is we need to attune properly. So why don't we right now have you attune? I'm going to walk you into the attunement process. I just want you to narrate to me what you notice and what you feel. Okay.
Okay.
So right now, I'm just going to have you close your eyes, take a couple of deep breaths. Good. Something happened right there. So just keep doing what you're doing, but something happened right there that shifted the energy. Do you know what you just did there?
I was taking a deep breath and I could feel like the heat flush across my face.
Okay, good. So that was the first little energetic marker. We use these little energetic markers as we go along as little signposts that something's changing, something's working. Therefore, I can do less. So now I want you to soften and relax again. I want you to just notice the inhale and the exhale. Just let your breath breathe you now. Gently take your attention to that central part of you, that divine spark within. We're just going to touch that with our awareness, almost like a flashlight shining on that space. Okay, something just shifted right there. Did you feel that shift or change?
Yeah, it felt like the heat moved from my face into my heart space.
Perfect. So that's telling you. So what did I do right before that happened? What did you do? What did you shift?
Told my mind to be quiet.
Yeah. And then that's the
Yeah.
mental piece, but what did that do internally?
When I took the deep breath,
Okay.
like, I don't know, it was like that quiet space in between kind of all the
Perfect.
loud
Good.
thoughts and chaos.
Okay, so let's just practice and see, can we recreate that same quiet space repeatedly? I don't mean you have to like control it. I just mean like by relaxing, by letting go. Let's see what happens. Good. So right now you're getting like, so keep doing what you're doing, but right now you were getting just like kind of letting go, not fully letting go. So keep going. Good. Good. Very good. Nice. That's good. Keep allowing it to unfold. Keep doing that same thing over and over. Good. Very nice. Okay, keep going. Whatever you're doing is working, so keep just letting that happen. And what's happening now is that energy is beginning to expand, beginning to open around you. Nice. Whatever you did there was good. Very good. Yep. You're doing the thing, so that's really good. Good. Now we're going to let that energy just sort of open upwards and outwards. We're letting it move all around us. Coming from that central part of our being, going outwards. So you just keep doing what you're doing, but just with that subtle intention. I want you to keep doing what you're doing, but I want you to narrate to me, how does the atmosphere feel different right now? Or what sensations do you notice?
It does feel thicker.
Yep.
But like at least within this space.
Yep, exactly. So keep going. Sorry, there's a trash can coming by, so if you can hear that, I apologize. So keep doing exactly what you're doing, and we're going to just let that widen. As you do this, you're going to let that continue to widen. That is really they should be on their way in a second. Nice. Good. So keep doing what you're doing, but I'm going to talk to you I'm going to have you talk to me while you do this. Are you noticing something different, what you're doing now versus what you were doing before?
Yeah, I think it might be it's easier to focus on your voice and you telling me what to do.
Mhm.
Whereas when it's like me by myself and I'm trying to attune and get into the practice,
Yep.
it's like I'm like trying to calm my brain
Sure.
and like narrate it myself.
Good. And so
So maybe
this is
trying to not do that.
why this is what you want to do then. You want to take note of, what am I doing internally that's creating that, so that I can continue to do that same thing over and over and over. So I want you to try to just see if you can, or just notice and narrate to me, what is it that you're doing that's causing it to occur?
It feels like I've got a block around my thoughts. Like it's just like keeping my thoughts back here while I focus on breathing.
Okay, great. That's a great thing. And so there's something about the practice of then breathing and taking your attention to that deeper space that is causing this sort of sensitivity to open up. And you can feel that change in the atmosphere, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you still feel that?
Yeah, I can still feel it. Feels like heat now.
Okay. So I want you to really value maybe the thickening of the atmosphere. That's going to be the sensation that's going to be the most valuable, because it's what
Okay.
occurs when you're really letting go. The heat might be a precursor
Mm-hmm.
to the power as it's sort of moving, as it's doing its thing, but that thickening is telling you that you're getting there. So now what I want you to do is I want you to take a little bit of time to just allow yourself to continue to soften in whatever way that you were softening before. And I want you to notice and describe when you can feel the atmosphere beginning to adjust again. When you can start to feel it intensify, I want you to just say, yes, I noticed it, or I noticed it, or whatever. Just say something.
I can feel it thickening around my head now.
Good. What did you do just then?
Continue to block those thoughts and breathe deeper.
Good.
Now it feels like there's more heat.
Good. But how far out does it feel like the thickness goes right now?
Like it's right on the cusp of going outside my body, but it still feels kind of within.
So then
or like barely out.
This is what you do. Then what you do is you take your attention a bit wider. So now you're sort of holding your attention wider until you can feel the atmosphere expanding beyond that. So I would hold my attention maybe a foot, maybe 2 feet beyond the body, all around me, and continue to do exactly what you've been doing. Continuing to soften and do less. Good. Just checking in here. What are you feeling? What are you noticing?
Still feeling that heat and thickness around.
Good. How far out does the thickness extend?
Still feels like it's right around me.
Okay, good. So it's going to feel definitely close because that's where the pressure is hitting you. And then all we have to do now is just take our attention wider. So where about, show me with your hands, where about do you keep your attention right now? Good. Perfect. So just hold it at the edges and then totally let go, totally soften, totally do less. So I just kind of take my attention to that space around me and then I soften, soften, soften. Yes, as Dana says, do less. Classic Michael Mayo. we noticing?
I feel tingling on like the back of my neck.
Good. So a shift or a change of any kind is a good sign. So if you start to feel more sensation of any kind, that's a good sign. That means you're going the right direction. So again, one of our little guideposts that tell us, oh, something's working. Soften and relax, do less. Good. What are we noticing right now? Does it feel the same? Does it feel different? What are we
Still feels
noticing?
the same
Okay,
with the
good.
thickness around.
Good. Perfect. So I'm okay with that because I can feel the power kind of coming out quite like properly, which is what's important. So then now what you would do from this space where you can feel the power, where you can feel the thickening, where you can feel that, it's from here that you would then go, okay, who's coming forward? So then you would offer that intention, who's coming forward, and then you would wait until something starts to shift in your energy. So as soon as you start to feel that shift in your energy, that's when you start talking about what's changing from moment to moment.
I'm still feeling the heat around my face.
Good. Continue to take your attention. Don't let your attention come too close to the body as you notice sensations. You can notice them, but then take your attention back to broad. Because when we start to pay too much attention to the sensations near our body, it'll keep us overly focused on what's happening on my physicality when we want to include more of the atmosphere in front of me, behind me, above me, my left and my right, all at the same time. And so then what we're noticing now is we're just going to notice any subtle shift or change. And I want you to just narrate anything that subtly shifts or changes, even the smallest thing.
So the heat feels more intense around my face.
Good. And then every time you notice something, you soften, relax. You never make it about, I'm making a connection, I'm making a link. You just go, I'm experiencing something, and then I soften, relax, do less. I experience something, I soften and relax, do less.
I can feel the thickness around my face.
Good.
Softening and relaxing.
Then anything I experience, I don't hesitate to talk about. I talk about it, even if it feels barely there.
It feels like the heat and thickness is expanding.
Good. So I want you to just narrate whatever you're noticing, any sort of shift, any sort of change. And then what we're noticing, or I guess better way to say this, what we're kind of aware of, or what will be interesting to us, is when a presence starts to step forward, somewhere around us begins to feel thickened or begins to feel more pressury. And it's sort of like different from the other space around you.
It kind of feels tight in my right shoulder blade.
Good, because that's where I
It
was
feels
feeling
different.
them too. So that's good.
Okay.
So it should also be beyond your shoulder blade. So even beyond you. So maybe behind you a little bit, maybe around the shoulder, maybe a broader sense. And the only way we can be aware of that is if we sort of take our attention beyond that point. If you find that that diminishes your experience in any way, that prompt, then just go back to softening your awareness as you were doing when we first started doing this.
It
Good.
feels like there's an intensity around my like right shoulder area, like to the right of my cheek.
Good. So that's your
over
person.
here.
So notice how that intensified when you soften. So that's a good prompt for you to utilize. So all throughout as we kind of keep working, you're going to be doing this exact same thing. You're going to keep doing what just happened right there, what you just figured out right there helped. You want to keep inviting that same sort of ease. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So then I want you to let that, you're getting a little flushed, huh?
So red.
So now I want you to let that presence step in a little bit closer.
Feels really, really hard to swallow. Like I can't swallow.
Good. So as we give voice to it, it allows it to move, it allows it to shift and change. So I gave voice to the fact of difficulty swallowing. Soften, relax again. As you feel this, does this feel more masculine? Does it feel more feminine? Do you have a sense of that yet?
Yeah. Earlier I wanted to say it felt like a male energy.
What does it feel like right now? If you find that the prompt causes tension, then you do the exact same thing again. So notice the difference between when it just comes to you versus when you go, oh, I'm supposed to be doing something now. Notice how that diminishes your awareness, right? So as soon as that little part of you starts searching, that's creating the block. So soften and relax, that same thing. Talk to me about what you feel is coming up for you right now.
Feels like I've lost that heat and the ability to like notice.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm trying to calm back down to.
There was thoughts that
do
happened.
Less.
There was thoughts that happened before that. There was hesitation. There was concern. There was worry about being right. There was like, what's going to be happening here? How far are we going to go? Like I could feel all of that sort of kind of bubbling up as we were kind of moving forward. Could you recognize that?
Yeah.
So I could feel that in the power as that was happening. And so you were a little bit like, ee! And then that was what was kind of creating the tension and the concern, right? So
yes,
that is what, so I'm hoping that kind of through that little exercise, you were starting to see the total difference in when something was building the power versus when something was me reaching or stepping a little bit further, or do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I could tell the difference between that, of especially when I was feeling that male spirit and then like doubting, and then versus when you asked me and then I'm like, oh crap, male or female.
Exactly. And then the other thing I would highlight is, if you felt that this was a male, the second you feel that, you need to say it. There is no
Okay.
hesitation, because the
Okay.
worst that's going to happen is that you're going to be wrong, and it doesn't matter. Okay, it's not a
Right.
male, but let's keep moving with the information. What else is here? So rather than worrying, oh no, I'm not going to be able to get something right or something bad's going to happen, that's going to diminish your connection. I always think it's better to give everything that you're getting rather than hesitate to try to be right. The reason is that what ends up happening is, it's like, okay, this is one piece of stimulus, and this is one piece of stimulus, and then this is one piece of stimulus, and this is one piece of stimulus. That's how it's supposed to work. Stimulus, 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 right? What happens is we go stimulus and then gap, and then we're trying to move on past that.
Yeah.
So if you don't give whatever this thing is that you're holding on to, you're not going to be able to feel the next thing coming.
Okay.
Does that make sense? It's going to stop it, and it's going to fumble it up. And then you're going to have this gap, and then you're like, nothing's happening, and now I'm stuck. Rather than, as I'm experiencing it, I talk about it. I just narrate the experience as it's unfolding. I don't give a shit if I'm going to be wrong. It does not matter. What matters is that I'm giving what I'm getting. That openness and ease is going to help you a lot. Second thing is going to be really helpful for you. Did we already do the no exercise?
Don't think so.
Okay. I think we do that more in expansions, but we need you to do the no exercise. And it is, so I don't know, do you ever go to the practice circles or anything like that?
I haven't.
Okay.
Timeline hasn't
Okay.
synced up.
If you have a friend or someone you can practice with, ask them to do the no exercise with you, which is essentially where no matter what you say, they say no. So even if you're right, you say no, they say no, and you have to keep giving the reading despite them saying no, because we need to desensitize you to the no or being wrong, and that's going to force you to pay attention to what is happening with the spirit.
Okay, perfect.
Does that make sense?
A little rejection therapy.
Literally, yes. It's rejection therapy, but the other thing that's really surprising, I think, about it is how it forces you to ignore the answer and just pay attention to the energy, because that's the only thing that's going to tell you whether you're right or wrong as you kind of continue. Does that make sense?
Okay, absolutely.
So that, I think, is, I think we can clearly see, at least from my end, what it is that's actually really blocking. It is making sure that we're attuning properly, making sure that the power is building as you're expanding and opening your energy. You could feel that subtle difference of when you were trying, where the tension came in maybe after I gave you a certain prompt, and then you would relax, and then, oh, it would start to happen again.
Yeah.
You need to just keep doing that thing that is opening, thing that is creating that feeling, because that's you letting go, that's you surrendering, and that's the feeling of letting go. It's one thing to be like, I'm relaxed, I'm relaxed, I'm relaxed. It's another thing to actually feel that opening, feel that expansion, and that is when you know you're actually letting go. So when someone says do less, I'm saying that. When I'm saying soften, I'm saying do that. Everything that I'm telling you to do is all related to that soften, that open feeling. Less about the thought, more about the feeling. But what was helpful for you, what I saw you able to accomplish today, was find the difference. So I want you to practice that. When you're sitting in the power, I actually just want you to do this. I want you to practice expanding your energy, expanding your energy, expanding your energy through soften, 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 soften. And then just sit in that. Sit in that softened space. Let yourself just be in that, and then offer the intention. Okay, spirit, come join me. Be with me for this time, and just see what you feel. See what starts to happen, and then just let everything be good. Let mark it all as good. If you don't feel it as strong, don't go, oh my God, I don't feel it as strong, I'm sucking. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Anything that happens in the practice is a good thing. Let's say that you have something, you're hitting a wall, 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 hitting a wall over and over and over again. And then one day you hit the wall, you bounce off and you walk around it and you find how to get past it. The hitting the wall was never a bad thing. The hitting the wall was how many times you needed to hit your head before you went, oh, it's over here. That's all.
Yeah.
Right? You don't have to get
Mhm.
it right the first time, the 100th time, the 1,000th time. All you have to do is just keep going, keep working at it, and view it all and mark it all as good. Especially at this stage of it. Yes, we know that you can 50% of the time get some really great information. We love those moments. And we can increase that by making sure that we are approaching our communication from a strong place rather than approaching our communication from wherever. I mean, like, however I'm feeling that day, right? We have to work on our approach to it and what are we bringing to that day, and then how do I adjust that? How do I make sure that I can feel? And so earlier I was talking to you about these little checkpoints, and I always do these little checkpoints when I'm going to do a reading, and it's this sense of, okay, can I feel any energy? Do I feel myself relaxing? How busy is my mind? If I notice that I'm able to soften and relax, and yes, my mind is busy, but I can go, okay, thank you, brain. We're going to put you over here for a little bit. And then I can feel a little whoosh or a little sensation. Great sign, good little checkpoint. It tells me, okay, you can relax, do less. Something is working. When I relax and do less, do I notice another little shift? If I do, great. And there's no time limit on how quickly that comes. I'm not going, oh, it better come in the first few seconds. Otherwise, I'm not ready. I'm going to sit here until it comes. I don't care how long it takes. If it takes me 7 minutes of sitting here before I feel anything shift, great. That's what it is today. So it's the acceptance that there isn't a way it's supposed to look, feel, or be. And we can just move with what is that day. We can do different things to try to shift that, to adjust that, to change that. But we really want to let ourselves be with whatever is going on that day.
Okay.
In acceptance of it all. Mark it all as good.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Does that help at all?
Yeah, that does. Big time.
Okay. And hopefully the experience of kind of having a better idea of what you're doing that's helping to expand the energy, because I could feel the power when you were doing it right. And I'm sure you were like, oh yeah, that's matching up with exactly what I just felt. And it's because of, sensing the power. It's sometimes helpful to have someone be there and be like, oh, that was good.
Yeah.
Oh, that was good. Oh, that was good. Right. To just help you kind of identify it. Because sometimes we don't know, is this taking me the right direction? Is this making me feel more? Does that make sense?
Yes. Thank you.
Do you have any other questions?
I don't think so. That's very helpful.
Well, let me know how you get on, because I am definitely going to want to know. And especially after this week. So great job. I'm just going to see what other questions we have. I know someone did earlier ask if I've ever experienced if I do trance mediumship. Yes, I am a trance medium. And yeah, I can do trance. And someone says, I have a very high tone in my ear every time as soon as I connect. Do you know this too? I don't have that happen to me, but that does sometimes happen for some people. So that is a thing where they can hear high pitch. Now, that's not to say that it should be happening all the time. If it's just only happening in that temporary time period where you're attuning, then that may be related to either your spirit connection or something like that. Otherwise, it's probably tinnitus, and that's probably what it is. So that, and then I saw someone else over here. Love it. That was the first thing I learned. It's okay to hear a no and be a wrong. Yeah, that's definitely true. Let's see. Hi, Dana, if you're still in here. Yes, it was garbage day. So yeah, we're opening up to other questions. Can you explain how the electric magnetic field works with spirits and mediumship? So I'll give you my best kind of example or concept is this. Essentially, we are energetic beings and we give off a field. We have a field that can be measured that comes off of our bodies. That if you ever look into Heart Math Institute, that's a great place to learn a little bit about how we exude this energetic thing that happens around us. that is something that I believe is related to mediumship. I think when we are expanding our energy and expanding our aura, we are expanding our connection to whatever energetic sense is out there. It's almost as if we're like thinning our borders so that we can perceive more. And by doing so, we're also attuning our awareness to our energetic senses. When we attune our awareness to our energetic senses, that's how we're able to sense and feel. And so I think that because we're energy, it's energy, they can sometimes interact with electronics and that sort of thing. But I do think that that requires power, that requires energy to kind of bridge the gap between where they are and where we are. It's why physical mediumship is much more rare and takes more time to develop and that sort of thing, because they have to learn how to physically bridge that gap between here and there. But electric things are not necessarily as physical in that way, so it may be easier for them to interact with in some way. But also our consciousness. I mean, there's something to that electrical sort of something that is somehow related. I mean, if you think about our brains, they're electrical impulses that are going off all the time, chemical impulses, electrical impulses. And so there is some sort of connection that's happening between those two sort of things. So I think of the brain as a condenser of consciousness rather than the source of consciousness. I also am of the mindset that consciousness is the first fundamental thing. So I believe that everything comes out of consciousness rather than matter creating consciousness. I think it's actually the opposite. And our little body and our little brain is actually the thing that's focusing our consciousness so that we can be here present in the world, so that we can experience the world. And so for me, it makes a lot of sense that if everything is consciousness, that we should be able to connect with these other consciousnesses that are no longer in physical form. We just have to get out of this tight little thinking brain, basically. So that's my explanation of how those work. Yeah. Melissa. Oh my God, the kitty in the tree. I know I have kitties and I have trees. I have kitty here and I have a kitty here and I have a Christmas tree. It's not decorated yet though. That's just the bare bones tree. But yeah, do I do this every Monday? I plan on it. Do I always execute that? No, but I plan on it. That's in my calendar to do. But I just need questions. If you give me questions, then it's worth the energy and time to set aside for that. Is that why I got through earbuds every 2 to 3 months? They stopped working, won't charge anymore. I don't know. That's a good question. I know that there are some people in the world who do have an impact on electronics, and they actually have a really hard time being with electronics. I don't think that's necessarily a one-to-one thing with like mediumship or psychic sort of stuff, but it is something that does occur with people. There are some people who do that. I do accept TikTok. I have many clients whose earbuds don't work only on calls with me. Oh, interesting. That's pretty funny. Watches happen that, yeah, that's a thing. I mean, I've heard of people who have those experiences. Other questions, other things. We have just a time for just a couple more before we wrap it up. If anyone is interested, I do have a couple of spots for Home Circle. That is today on Mondays at 6 p.m. Pacific. If you are interested in joining Home Circle is the traditional way of developing your mental mediumship, or all mediumship really. And it's really to focus and learn about the power. And you can find that at mediummichaelmayo.com/home circle. So that's another option. Also, if you're here and you're watching, we do have student readings. Our advancing students are doing readings. I think they're $20. Please go help them learn because they're doing great. And this is the latter half of their 5 months. So they're definitely grown quite a bit and are doing really, really well. So if you are interested, do go book with them to help them learn. So their name, it's the fellow, not the fellowship, the advancing student readings. You can do that under book a reading at oakbridgeinstitute.org. There's Nat in the chat saying, please help us learn. So yeah, Ashley, for real. Other Ashley, not Ashley G. So yeah, check that out. Any other? Thanks for the tree compliments. I love my tree. I just bought this tree. It's so pretty and it changes color. So yeah. I may be on later doing readings. I'm gonna just see how I feel. Yeah, and you know what? It wasn't that expensive. It was kind of expensive for sure, but like in the realm of trees, like trees can be like $1,000. This was only like 400. That was after taxes and everything. It was like $400, and it has like over 2,000 lights on it. And I'll be able to use it for years. And so, and I don't have to kill any trees. I really have this like moral thing around having to kill trees for Christmas every year because I'm just like, I don't know. As I get older and older, I become more and more sensitive to all life. Like every time I have fish, I like cry a little bit. Not really, but I do feel really bad because I am mostly plant-based. Like if I'm eating at home, it's 100% plant-based, all that sort of thing. And then only if I'm out and about, then I will have, if it's easier, I will have a fish or something like that. But I don't love it, and it gets harder and harder all the time. Do your cats attack the tree? Actually, no. Thank God they don't. But I also have really well-trained cats. Like they'll try like maybe to bite it once, and then I just make the sound that they associate with like reprimand, and then they don't do it, which is great. They stop. So, they're pretty good. So yeah, I was worried that they were going to do that too. Okay, when sitting now as I go in the sounds of the electricity around me gets louder until I'm gone. What? I'm gonna need you to give me that one again, Janelle. It's very hard outside of your home. What sitting is? Hello, Moochie Mooch. But how does it work with consciousness and connection to spirit with the electromagnetic field work? So I don't know if my answer was not exactly what you were looking for. I would suggest checking out Heart Math Institute. That probably has a little bit more information. It's hard outside of your home, plant-based. Yeah, I mean, it depends on where you live. Some places it's a lot easier, like when I'm in LA or anywhere like that. And I have some places around here, but yeah, I mean, it can be tricky-ish. It just depends on how much you want to eat. But you know what the key is, folks? Eat before you go out, or pre-make food and just have it with you. Or you can like I have my little green smoothie. All you guys have probably seen me drink my green smoothie, and I make that like what I eat. Even if I'm going to go out with people, when I'm really strict, I'll drink that before so that when I go out, I just get like broccoli or I get like, some side of some, a salad or something like that. And, have to just accept that. But yeah, I mean, you do definitely miss out on some delicious things. But let me tell you, I often point it out to my partner and anyone I'm eating with when they go, ooh, this plant-based is so good. And I'm like, yes, no animals were harmed in the making of this meal. And I love that because it's just like, yeah, see how delicious it can be. So I tried to listen to the telepathy tapes podcast, and I just had a really hard time getting into it for some reason. So I have not listened to it. I will probably do that. Thank you for your wisdom. Love listening to your advice. I can't afford classes right now, so thanks. Oh, you're welcome, Catherine. My pleasure. Well, that's what Mondays are supposed to be. Mondays at 2:00 Pacific are supposed to be free information. If you guys come and you ask questions, I will definitely do my best to answer. Ashley, for the $20 readings with our students, it's oakbridgeinstitute.org, and you click on the Book a Reading tab, and they're the Advancing Student Readings. As I'm going deeper, I can hear a buzz of electricity. It gets really loud and stops when I'm unaware. Yes, that means you're going into an altered state for sure. Oakbridge. Oak, then bridge. Can someone put Oakbridge in the chat, please? Oakbridgeinstitute.org. It doesn't sound Delulu. It actually is a part of the awareness shift that you're having. Artist, writer, model. I signed up for a reading with a student. Awesome. Amazing. Well, I'm sure you're going to enjoy that. And if, for whatever reason it doesn't go ideally, we'll always reschedule you. So don't worry about that. Oakbridgeinstitute.org. Oakbridgeinstitute.org is the thing. So I probably will come back on later to do, it depends on how I feel. I can feel my allergies bugging me a little bit, and people always know I hate doing readings when I have allergies, but I may do that. So yeah. Does consciousness come from the electromagnetic field though? No, I don't think it comes from the electromagnetic field. Healing class last night was so good, by the way. Thank you. Yeah. We're moving into it now. The healing class is really cool. Everybody's learning how to do healing. Everybody's getting results. It's really incredible. Physical results in the moment. Very proud of all you guys. I'm excited for that course to be like a proper course here pretty soon. So next year we'll definitely teach that one again. The healing class is awesome. But what I'm really excited about is I want to make a little group of healers, for those of you who want to offer healing through Oakbridge as like the Oakbridge healers for people who need healing and need work. And we can make it really super affordable, so that people can get support in whatever their pains, ailments, illnesses, whatever. So that's the plan. I love all you guys. I have to get to my next thing, but please join me either later tonight or next Monday at the same time if you want to hear. I want to thank Ashley though, because Ashley, your engagement and your willingness to kind of explore that and doing all that, I felt like really gave a lot of educational opportunity to everybody else, which isn't always the case when we do these. It's oftentimes question and answer. But I want to say thank you for being so open and vulnerable and allowing yourself to be a little guinea pig as we're learning. And I hope it was helpful for you.
Yes, definitely. Thank you again. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. All right, everybody. I'm going to head on out of here, but thanks for being here. And I will see you either later tonight or next week. It just depends on how I feel. It'll be on all wherever you're watching me right now. Okay? See you guys. And now comes the time of slowly turning off everything.